Hey everybody, I gotta make sure to start the time because this is probably one that I'll have a tendency to ramble on. Um, so yesterday I ran into three massive roadblocks. I said I was gonna start working on light management and adding lights, and basically the first major roadblock I ran into is I wanted to use material tables, and I cannot get the material tables to update based on the, let me see, light manager, based on the signal. So whenever I update the signal of light with lights list via the signal, the table doesn't update. And I knew ways like this, just for some reason just doesn't keep the table update, even though it does keep this count updated. Don't know exactly what that's all about. I did some searches on the internet, could not find on Stack Overflow. I found some kind of cryptic answers that I tried to implement, but they were all partially implemented, and I knew none of them would work for me. And I found a bunch of people who could not get it to work. So that was the first major problem. The second, after that, once I started to get lights added, I found out very quickly that lights, probably the biggest part of lights, are actually the shadows that lights cast, and you can't really see shadows with this black background. So we needed a way to change the black background. And then number three big hit, even though I changed the black background, the mesh items that we create are a special kind of mesh items that don't care about light and do not cast shadows. So I needed a way to first of all, I needed a way to change the mesh type or the material type into one that can cast shadows. But then a fundamental part of those material parts, I'm a little bit talking out of school here. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe a fundamental part of the ones that can cast shadows, so they have one like called material Fong, is setting the colors. And so basically and a very important part of lights is setting the colors, and I need to be able to set the colors on scenes. So I need to be able to create a common component that all three of them will use for setting lights. Um, so basically, roadblock, hardcore roadblocks yesterday. So that was that. So I decided to change gears, and now this is where I'm at. Um, basically, yesterday I created a scene manager, which is what we're seeing here, and a common color picker. And you'll notice I have component misspelled, and it should be components, which I did rectify earlier, and I tried to do that in a video, but it would not update in real time, and I had to kind of shut everything down, go into my file manager, and update it that way. So um, that was that. And let me just make sure that is correct now. Yeah, so now it's common components. So that's how that became that. So now let me go back to this and this. Okay, so first time I show is the toolbox HTML. So I'm going to expand this. Oh, interesting. Okay, so let me make this a little bigger so I have access to my maximize. There we go. All right, so this is what it was. It wasn't there, and now we have this. And I found this icon called wallpaper that is pretty cool. And that is this one. Let me reload this. And let's go to the mesh and add a mesh. I don't know why I did that. But anyways, that's the wallpaper. And that I think works pretty good for scene. There wasn't one called scene. I tried that. Um, but okay, so next is the toolbox component. And so in the toolbox component, all I had to do was import the scene manager, which is good. And now let's go to the scene manager. So the scene manager, all it has is the color picker, and that's all I plan to do on this round is a color picker that sets the scene up. And then in the type script, all I do is pull in the color picker. Um, I definitely need to do more stuff. Um, I'm just going to skip over the unit tests. And then I set this width in the scene manager of the color picker. So it'll be the responsibility of whatever imports the color picker to set the outer width of it, and then um, I don't know. We're gonna have to play around when different things import this common component, this common color picker component. Now, color picker has a ton of markup in it. I use the matte sliders, and basically um, I update the background of the slider itself um, based on whatever has been selected in the red, blue, and green component. There are a ton of improvements that can be done, and there are a ton of third-party pickers and stuff like that that I might end up using. Um, but for now, I'm just going to use like this slider thing, and basically this is the full color, and this is the individual color for each component. Typically, people see these in hex, so I might update that in the future so that you see the 3 hexes, and I might update something so that you can manually type in colors, but this I think works for now. And like I said, this will be used in all 3, so that is cool. Now so it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let me go to the color picker HTML. There's a matte slider, and there's a change call, and then this code was pretty much just copy and pasted straight from the material site. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Took a bit of time, but it wasn't bad. And then you have a red, a green, and a blue. We have styles. There's actually a lot of styles. This is going to need to we're going to need to do some playing with this, or who knows. We'll see what happens as we try to use this. Obviously this will not go in a table row, so the way this is, and I don't know if we need to just break that down where there's a separate red, green, and blue for table rows, or if table rows need to be expandable and you can only pick the colors when you're in the expanded mode. I'm not sure, but like I said, this works for now. And then I don't think there's much going on in here. All we do is get the color and turn it into a number, and we're not really doing anything with it. We're just getting it. So next is to do inputs and outputs. I thought that there was a way with the new signals to do inputs and outputs that way, and I played around with that, but I couldn't figure that out. So I might have to go back to the old-fashioned inputs and output decorators, so that this can be used by all 3. I could listen for changes like with NGRX or signals or something like that, but the problem is I want the this color picker needs to be like usable by lots of different things, and I'm not exactly sure how to implement that. It is just sort of a brave new world with these signals, and I haven't figured those all out yet. But anyways, that's where we're at. We got this color picker, this very rudimentary color picker built out, and it should be able to serve our purposes for a short amount of time. And that's about it. I guess I'm finishing a little early. I thought I was going to ramble on because of all of the yesterday, all of the roadblocks that I had. But that's about it. So like I said, tomorrow we'll be working on input outputs. Happy coding. Bye.